On the morning of April 14th, 1561, hundreds in Nuremberg reported spheres, crosses, and rods maneuvering in the sky. They described it like a battle at dawn. A dark spear-shaped craft appeared after the action, and objects fell with smoke. People back then weren't dumb. They lived by the sky and knew what they were seeing. What if they witnessed a real UAP engagement? Today we will read the original account closely. We will trace the engagement as timeline. We will compare the maneuvers to modern UAP reports. And we will ask the question, this wasn't weather. What was it?
I am bored, what should I do? Ich weiß, get Germanized.
The report says many men and women across Nuremberg saw this spectacle at sunrise. These were craftspeople, traders, and churchgoers who watched weather, smoke, and light every day. They could tell the difference between ground fog and rising smoke. They called this event unusual for a reason. Let's break it down as a battle timeline. Phase 1 is arrival. Multiple spheres and cross shapes emerge near the sun and spread across the sky. Phase 2 is engagement. Rod or tube-shaped objects appear to emit smaller spheres as paths intersect. Phase 3 is dominance shift. After a long exchange, many objects weaken or descend. Phase 4 is aftermath. A dark spear or triangle appears and debris or objects fall with smoke near the ground. That progression sounds like maneuver, engagement, degradation, and egress. 3 maneuver clues jump out immediately. First, the account implies purposeful movement and interaction, not drifting lights. Second, there are multiple object classes that behave differently, which suggests distinct platforms. Third, the tubes producing spheres looks like launch, countermeasure, or swarm behavior. If you lived in 1561, you would not say drone swarm. You would draw spheres coming out of tubes. Witnesses mentioned smoke as objects fell. In a wood-fired city, people knew smoke's color, smell, and rising plume. Fog blankets the ground. Smoke rises and spreads in a plume. The wording suggests material failure, heat, or venting, which is kinetic. Here is a working craft taxonomy based on shapes. Spheres act like agile units or scouts operating in numbers. Rods or tubes act like launch or transport platforms that emit smaller units. Crosses may indicate luminous craft or energy projection as drawn by the artist. Crescents near the sun could be silhouettes catching light at an angle. The black spear or triangle arriving late could be a command or recovery vehicle. This is not proven, but it is a coherent read if we take the account at face value. Could it have been halos or sundogs? Atmospheric optics are real and beautiful, but they are typically passive light effects. They do not usually look like multiple classes of objects interacting for an hour. They do not usually end with descending objects and smoke. The engagement logic is the sticking point. Consider the Basel 1566 case a few years later. That pamphlet also describes red and black spheres fighting before sunrise. Either Europe kept misreading complex optics the same way, or similar engagements were recorded in period language. Pattern does not equal proof, of course, but it raises the probability that Nuremberg was not a one-off. Here's my take. If we respect the competence of 16th century observers, the maneuvering, the ejecta, and the smoke point to a real aerial event. Could have been UAP versus UAP, or UAP versus something else in the sky. The woodcut is not a photograph, but it reads like a coherent field report in the visual language of its time. Imagine witnessing the same sequence today. You see clusters, launches, a dominant triangle arriving late, and debris falling with smoke. Would you call that weather? Or would you call that a fight? So, was Nuremberg 1561 a thin-air dogfight long before dogfights existed? I think it's plausible. Tell me where you land. UAP engagement, unknown tech, or a rare sky phenomenon we still do not understand. If this fired you up, watch my other UAP-related videos here on Get Germanized. And if you want to know how I got interested in this topic, well, one of my first videos on YouTube ever, not on this channel, but on my first channel, secret channel, was actually about Bob Lazar and the, alleged UAP retrieval scientist back at S4, Area 51. If you don't know about that topic, I would recommend you look that up. It's highly interesting. He's actually doing a kind of documentary right now where you can go into VR and look at his laboratory and the craft he allegedly worked on and much more. And it's super fascinating. And that kind of topic has always piqued my interest. Even as a kid, my dad read sci-fi novels to me when I was young. I got interested in Star Trek, Star Wars, all the sci-fi, and well, in my adult years I saw 1 or 2 weird sky phenomena, and I got obsessed ever since, because in my opinion this, if true, is one of the most important topics of our time, and I'm a little bit saddened that not more people see it that way. But anyway, apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized, goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.